Hello everyone, welcome to the next session on SAP Web IDE training. In yesterday's class, we have discussed about what is SAP Web IDE and what are all the different flavors in which SAP Web IDE is available. And then we also saw how to download and install SAP Web IDE personalized version. So hope you all are able to download and install it in your local computer. And then we saw the basic architecture for NetWeaver Gateway and how to connect our Web IDE from to SAP NetWeaver Gateway to access the OData services. Towards the end, we also saw how to create a very simple Fiori application using XML of metadata of a OData service. And then we executed that in a local environment. In today's session, we will start with our basic understanding of what is SAP Fiori. We will talk about SAP Fiori strategy, UX strategy of SAP, and then we will also see how to set up SAP NetWeaver Gateway system in your computer. And after the deployment, after the installation steps, we will also talk about the configuration steps for NetWeaver Gateway and also look into the depth of NetWeaver Gateway system. What are all the different components ideally should be present. So as a developer, you don't have to really go in a deep dive of installation process because that's particularly done by developers. But as a developer, sometimes when we are really working hard with our apps to be made visible in Launchpad, we really need to look into it. And also sometimes when there are standard apps which we have to activate in SAP system and do some add-on installations, these things becomes important for us. So at least we should know end-to-end what's going on behind the scenes. So let's get started our session. We will start with what is SAP Fiori. A lot of you have already attended the first course and you already know what Fiori is all about, but you might not have seen the depth of the architecture of the system and the deployment options which you can propose when you are talking to business. So you as a Fiori consultant goes into a company. You have right now the development experience with the JavaScript and you can create a app from the scratch right now. But you may not be able to guide the team over there in terms of what components does what is going on behind the scenes, what's going on in the server, what are all the components which gets installed, how to activate and deactivate standard Fiori apps, how to customize them, right? Those things you may not have an idea. That's the knowledge gap we will try to bridge in this particular course. So what is SAP Fiori? As we all know, this is new UI technology provided by SAP. So Fiori is all about completely new user experience. New user experience which provides responsive UIs to SAP users. This is what we learned in the previous course, a responsive UI which is provided to SAP users. It is actually more than that. What additionally you get with SAP Fiori. So when you say I'm using SAP Fiori, what SAP have done, they have a proper UI strategy. It's called SAP UX strategy. So what SAP UX strategy is, they wanted to improve the user experience of SAP users. Though it's not like there are not available web technologies already, there are already web technologies like BSP, WebDyn Pro in SAP, which already runs in browser and have a very good user experience. But what about mobile devices? What about tablets? What about real-time mobile capabilities? What about same application being used on different platforms, different browsers? These things they were really lacking in. And that's when they started with SAP Fiori. And thanks to SAP Fiori that it has changed the world the way we look at as far as SAP is concerned. So what the overall idea of SAP was when they introduced SAP Fiori is leveraging the existing infrastructure to provide instant value to their customer. So leveraging the existing infrastructure to provide instant values to their customer and partners. So SAP work in an ecosystem. They have their customers, they have their partners. So they really wanted to bring in something like a new concept which changes the life everywhere. And this is what SAP Fiori did. It actually changed the way people look at SAP, and it has provided an instant value to their customers and partners. How? This technology has brought in many new features. Like first important feature is responsiveness. So as we already know what is a responsive application, the same application you don't need to rewrite again. It works seamlessly with mobile and tablets, right? Now, the slogan line for SAP for Fiori was keep simple things simple. So this is what the slogan, what they came up out with when they started with SAP Fiori. Keep simple things simple. So the main advantage is you have an app, you have done the coding, you have put some effort, and the same app should work in all the devices. At the same time, they don't want to disrupt the existing customers, what they are currently using. So imagine you are a company who is already using SAP R3 since last 20 years. They don't want to disrupt your existing business, but at the same time, they want to offer something on top of it. They will say, hey man, I have come up with this revolutionary product called SAP Fiori, which will help your employees to access the application right from their devices, wherever they are, and from any browser. So the next important thing came into the mind is security. How do you manage security when you want to give such business sensitive data on a mobile device? So that's why SAP Fiori was introduced with role-based access. So SAP Fiori was not just responsive, the access was also role-based. It is fully customizable. Fully customizable. You can customize the Fiori apps. You can add on the new features on top of it. You can change the theme. So there is another aspect of it called theme designer. You can beautify the applications the way they look at theme designer and custom branding. So your company is already having a specific color, like you see um, Emirates, they have a specific color of their website. It's little light red color. So you want to do such kind of theming and custom branding, you can actually use SAP Fiori and change the colors and make it customized. You can change the logos, and according to that you can host the applications. So these are all the new features it has come up. Then it has also come up with a revolutionary feature called SAP Launchpad, Fiori Launchpad. This was the single point of contact for accessing all the applications and single entry point for all the business users for accessing these apps. Before SAP Launchpad was introduced, the initial version of Fiori have come up with something called Launch Page. We will talk about Launch Page and Launchpad both. After that, we also say it is streamlining the business processes. Like you are traveling and you want to approve the leave of an employee. So this seamless business processes integration can also been achieved by Fiori. It has come up with some apps related to approval processes like leave approval, purchase order approval, and it has made a revolutionary step towards making an organization more sustainable, because there were, you can use your mobile device to approve the request, and then there's no pending work, and you can take actions much faster as compared to last time when you used to come to office, connect to your company, and then do the actions, rather than you can do it from your device from anywhere. Then it has also come out with a standard SAP Fiori app. So SAP didn't say, I'm giving you technology, you develop. It has come up with standard Fiori apps. They have developed standard Fiori apps for their customers initially, and they propose these apps to be consumed out of the box. Out of the box means this word you hear most of the time. Out of the box. What is the meaning? Out of the box means you have got it and now you just configure it and you're ready to use. You don't have to spend time in order to make use of these apps. You don't have to modify them. Just take them as it is, activate them, and then they are ready. You can start consuming these apps. That's why it's called out of the box. Just like you get a mobile device, it is inside a box. You open the box and start using, put in a battery into it and start using your device. Similarly, these apps were delivered by SAP, Standard Fiori apps, and now you can use these applications to use for your business user. Give it to them immediately. Next important thing, ready for extensibility. Extensibility means you have a standard Fiori app which SAP delivered, but you want to tweak that application, or you want to do some enhancement on top of it. That is also possible using the concept called extensibility concept. We will talk a lot about this extensibility concept in detail in upcoming sessions, how to extend a standard Fiori app. And that's where your knowledge of existing course will also help you. So that's about extensibility. So these are all couple of advantages what SAP has proposed when they introduced SAP Fiori. So when somebody asks you in interview why SAP Fiori, so you can quote these many examples saying that this is why SAP Fiori has become more popular, and the biggest advantage was you can run anywhere, on any device, on any platform. So if you have worked with WebDyn Pro technology, you may know that it, for a long period of time, it doesn't used to support the Chrome browser, right? And till date, some of the apps doesn't support the Chrome browser. So the framework itself doesn't have the such features. So that has become an obsolete thing with SAP Fiori because it supports all the devices, all the types of browsers, and all the platforms. Majority of the browsers, I would say, Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, and Safari. These are all the browsers which SAP Fiori supports. So then,
Hi Anubhav, sorry to disturb,
mhm.
Subhani here.
Yeah, Subhani, tell me.
I have a question that if you have a standard Fury app in our Fury Launchpad, what do you say?
Mhm.
So why we are going to develop a application from the scratch in SAP UI5? These questions are asking in so many interview for me.
Mhm.
So can you clarify it?
Yes. So why you are going is because with extensibility concept, you have very little power to do it. So they will give you extensibility points where you have to go and adopt these code changes. But what if there is a requirement from the customer or from your business which doesn't being satisfied by any of the standard Fury app? They have their custom
Okay.
tables, they have their custom structure, they have their custom implementation, custom classes, BAPIs, and with that they want a UI to be developed. So for example,
Totally from scratch,
exactly
100% of the custom build
100%
app.
of custom. Yes. So in such cases, they would like to go with it. They would like to go with the custom Fury app, right?
So you are saying that our standard application can also be customized.
Yes, but only to a certain limit. You cannot
Okay.
actually do it the way you want. So when you go to
Yeah, that's why I
extensibility chapter,
even convinced them that we can able to customize the standard Fury
mhm.
app to. So what so certain limit means so up to what are
So
those
that's what we will
content
see in
and
the extensibility concept. So of course
okay.
you can do it at many things you can do. You can introduce new views, you can change existing views, you can completely overwrite the existing functionality of views and controllers. It is all possible. But what
Okay.
happens is once you extend your Fury app, you have to deploy it as a Z implementation again. You have to
It's
reconfigure
custom, yeah.
everything. It's custom. It's a Z
Yeah.
implementation now. Now, what happens tomorrow is, let's say you have upgraded your system to a new, new add-on, and now the standard Fury app has changed. It has got some
That
new
would
feature.
be add-on is not add to the customer.
Yes. So then you again have to
Yeah.
remodify and reinvent it. Some of your
Got it.
code may not work, right? So that is the reason why you would like to go with a pure custom development. Anyways, you're deploying it as a Z app, right? So if
Yeah, I
you
know.
if you go it from the custom only, then it should be okay, right? You are not worried about the next push to your system of the new UI add-ons, right?
Okay.
There's one more question here
Thank
from
you.
Hema. Uh, Some of the Fiori apps needed HANA DB, exclusive HANA database. Also, some of the Fiori apps are not transactional apps. They are fact sheet apps. So do we have to develop custom? It depends on your requirement. So I will come to the categories of SAP Fiori app. We will also discuss the architecture. That time you will understand that which are all the different types of apps which are present and what is that they need bare minimum in the system. So I will come to that in the next slide itself. So this is about the introduction of Fiori and the SAP UI, SAP UX strategy. So what SAP has done is they've gone to their customers, their top customers, and then they ask, hey man, I'm going to offer something new, a Fiori technology. What are all your most critical business scenarios? What are all your most critical business processes? So these customers have given 25 most critical scenarios to SAP, and SAP in the first release, they have come up with these 25 business scenarios supported. So what SAP did, they have supported 25 business, they have actually created 25 business apps, Fiori apps. This was the first release somewhere around May 2013. So that's when 25 business apps were released by SAP, and they were role-based. As we always mention, SAP Fiori is role-based, and these apps, let me quickly give you some insight of that, what kind of scenarios were covered with these apps. So some of the ESS MSS scenario like manager apps, and they were like approve, leave request, then approval of request, normal request, then travel request, approval of travel request. Some of the timesheet apps, shopping cart, approval of shopping cart, approval of timesheet, approval shopping cart, approval of timesheet. So then you have some approval of PO, purchase requisition, approval of purchase requisition. Then you have purchase my spent approval, then all the different types of apps related to manager they have released. Then comes is the employee role. For employee role also they've released a couple of apps like filling the timesheet, my timesheet, request leaves, request travel. So all the counter apps basically for the approval apps, my benefit, shopping cart, create a shopping cart, track shopping cart. So all these apps were released for employee. And then going to the next role, which was for the sales representative role, they have come up with a couple of apps like create sales order, change sales order, track sales order, track shipment, customer invoice, check price, availability, and stuff like that. Now, what was so special about these apps? These apps doesn't give you a freedom to extension. There's no way you can extend these apps. They were fixed apps and they all used to use HTML views. So we all know Fiori by now, basics of development. So they all used to use HTML views and there were no extension possibility. You cannot extend these Fiori apps at all. Then later point of time, what SAP have done, they have done more innovation. They have seen there is a good response from the people. Now with that, what they did is they put in some more effort, and after that, some period of time, in way back in November 2017, November 2013, SAP we have come up with more apps, and there was a great change. If you see the total number of apps which they've released has significantly increased to around somewhere around 193 apps. Okay, and then they were using XML views, and of course there is a new concept was introduced related to components, component JS. And then also they have come up with something called Fiori Launchpad. Now this is what I was talking about. The Launchpad was introduced along with this second wave of Fiori. In the first wave, there was no Launchpad, there was something called launch page. Okay, launch page. So launch page was different than Launchpad because this Launchpad is completely dependent on the component JS concept, which we have learned in our course. Component JS concept. We will also discuss in detail about Launchpad in coming sessions, how to activate SAP Fiori Launchpad, how to activate your apps out of the box on the Launchpad, how to customize them, add them into a business catalog, create the groups, give the roles to the user. All these things we will discuss going forward in our next set of sessions. Then of course they have given the UI extension points for the first time so that customers can enhance the Fiori apps what has been delivered by SAP. So this was introduced for the first time in November 2013. So after that onwards, it has taken um, a big jump into the market, and they have really made it so aggressively targeting the market. So this was the strategy, this was the starting point, and this was the history of SAP Fiori user experience, how it is started. Then looking into the architecture, what typically the architecture of any Fiori app looks like. So you have something called user. So let's start from the user's point of view. So there will be a user, and then this user is going to use Fiori app either on a desktop device or on a tablet or on a mobile device. Now this user is basically using this app in a browser, basically open in one of these devices, and then let's say this user is actually not in the company internet, not in the company intranet network. So there's something called in the middle called web dispatcher. It's also known as reverse proxy. It's just a server which dispatches all the requests, which queues up all the requests coming from devices, coming from the browser, and then forwards it to the internet, forwards it to your right intranet network. So then it comes, the request comes to your SAP Fiori front-end system. It's called SAP Fiori front-end system. And this SAP Fiori front-end system has something called SAP Fiori Launchpad. Of course, it has a lot. We will discuss that in detail in today's class. We will also look at the different deployment options. So this has SAP Fiori Launchpad, which then gets displayed to the user. Now, how does this front-end system access the business data? So business data is not present in the front-end system. It is actually there in the ERP system, your ECC box. Okay, it is there in your ECC box, which is also known as Fiori backend. You can call it as ECC. This is your enterprise core component where you actually have your business data. So earlier the company users were directly using SAP Logon and connecting to this ECC. What SAP have done, they have told, we are bringing you an innovation out of the box and you can start using it right from the next day once we have this new system. So they have introduced this front-end system in which they installed something called a gateway component, all data services and some add-ons which we will discuss in the next slide, and SAP Fiori Launchpad, which is the access point for all the users to all the apps. And then you have a backend system where business data is present. So all your business data is present over here. And now this business data can be accessed through OData services using this front-end system. There's a component which is responsible for creating, managing all the OData architecture called gateway. And then finally, the data can be displayed to the user over here. So there is this main component called front-end system. This is also known as SAP NetWeaver Gateway. This is your NetWeaver Gateway. Okay. Now, what are all the different components of gateway system? What are all the different components of this ECC system which makes this entire architecture run? That is what we'll have a deep dive. And also we will look at the different deployment options. If a company wants to use SAP Fiori, what are all the different options they typically can use? So the most favorable option is actually this option. It's called Gateway Hub Approach. Okay, it's called Gateway Hub Approach, or distributed deployment also it is known as. Gateway Hub Approach or distributed deployment it is known as. And another option is the single approach where both the gateway and the backend system is in the one single box. Okay, is in one single box. That is called embedded scenario, embedded system scenario. So there are two scenarios. One is central hub deployment or gateway hub deployment, where your gateway system, where your Fiori is present, is separate system, because you don't want to disrupt the current business here. You have current business of the company running here. You added a system on top of it. Now this backend system can be even older releases like NetWeaver. It can be NetWeaver 7.0 also, 7.1 also, 7.2, 7.4. So currently it is 7.5, the latest one. So it can be any older version also. Still you can innovate. You can give customers to access the Fiori apps. And what really made it possible is this gateway system. So we will have a deep dive inside this gateway system and try to understand the different components of this gateway system. And also we will see how to set up the latest SAP NetWeaver 7.4 and why 7.4 is been so important here in this scenario. We will also discuss about that. Okay, so this is your Fiori front-end system or gateway system, where you have a couple of add-ons. Why add-ons? So imagine you have got a mobile device. Now this mobile device has just got a battery, a headphone, and it has no softwares into it, right? So you got it. Now you want to use WhatsApp, WeChat, different softwares. So what do? You go to App Store and you download these apps into your mobile device. And if you want to protect your screen of mobile device, you go for a tempered glass. And the backside, if you want to protect, what you do, you go for a screen cover. So like that, you have different add-ons on top of your mobile device to facilitate different features. Similarly, what exactly a gateway system is? It's an add-on installed on SAP NetWeaver. So SAP NetWeaver is the technical foundation for ABAP-based application and Java-based applications of SAP. But on top of it, you can additionally install this add-on component, which brings you these features like OData services, SAP UI5 framework. These new things what is coming in the world can be utilized with your existing servers. So that's what we call add-on. Add-on is an additional feature, additional features which you install on an existing NetWeaver system to make it enable to be consumed with different stuff. That's what your add-on is. So we will talk about these add-ons. We will talk about different deployment scenarios. So let's understand what's there inside this box now. Specifically, we'll talk about this NetWeaver gateway box. So what exactly this NetWeaver gateway box is contained. So first important thing which we need to talk about is the support for OData services, because your data is always exposed by OData services. What is that important thing which exactly is contained inside this NetWeaver box, which makes it so unique, which makes it possible for you to actually consume and build and consume the OData services? What is there inside this? So let's talk about this box now. So this NetWeaver gateway system, the box, yellow box I'm talking about now, I go inside this yellow box, I'm zooming in, and now I will explain quickly what are all the different components it has. So this is, imagine your SAP NetWeaver. This is NetWeaver. So SAP NetWeaver has different components. Now Gateway Foundation is one of the component, or it's one of the add-on which we are going to install. So SAP NetWeaver is already running in a company. It's providing support for ABAP and Java based applications for SAP. Now in this, what I will do, I want OData. So for that, I need to install new software. I need to enhance this existing infrastructure. So what I get is something called SAP Gateway Core Technology. I get this SAP Gateway Core Technology. So let me just move it on top. So once you understand this theory, we will go practical and we will try to set up these things in the system so that you understand what's going on behind the scenes. This is not really so important as a developer for you, but still if you have an idea, it's always good. You know, in a company, you will have always an advantage over others. So now this gateway technology contains something called, first thing called OData with SAP Notion. So you have basically structure of an OData. It is consist of entity sets, and entity set is defined by entity type, and then you have association. All that is your OData structure. So Along with OData, you have SAP Notions. So if you want to build a smart Fiori app, a smart filter app, you basically use SAP Notions, and with that you can quickly build a Fiori application. So SAP OData with SAP Notions. Then we have support for OData. So for that we have something called supportability component inside this, and then we have monitoring, where how many calls are coming, what happened when a call fails, who is going to if what happens if a dump comes. All the system trace and monitoring is managed by this. Then you have security. So there are predefined role which SAP delivers, predefined role templates which SAP deliver. That is also comes under security. We'll talk about all the roles also which a user or administrator need to activate the launchpad or activating the standard SAP Fiori apps. We will talk about it. Then you have metadata repository of all the predefined OData service what SAP gives. So it's a metadata repository. So basically SAP will deliver you the OData projects, but you have to create OData services on top of it. So when you create an OData service, the metadata of these services has to be stored somewhere. So it's stored in the metadata repository. Then you have service adoption. Somebody has to adopt an existing OData service which SAP delivered. That is also a component, service adoption component. Then you have workflow support for SAP workflow and events. So some of you may already know SAP workflow and events. So events and workflow, SAP workflow support. So that is also part of this component. Then other than this, you also have something called tools, which comes along with this component. So you have something called tools. What this tool does, let's understand. These are tools. What all the tools we have? We have something called a generator tool. Generator tool, if you remember guys, we have seen in our OData chapter in last course, we can write the complete ABAP coding on our own for OData. We can also generate service generation technique with which you just have to mention your BAPI name and your service will be created automatically. All the code in DBC extension got created. So that is what your generator tool does. So this generator tool is also part of your gateway component. So this is your NetWeaver, and if I draw it correct, absolutely correct diagram, then this whole thing also goes in a box called gateway component. So let me just send it to back. So that's your gateway component. Let me just send this also to back. And now if I just highlight the gateway component, this is your gateway component, which has the tools and this core technology component. Then we have also something called support for OData providers. So how does the OData connect to your backend system? This is your gateway system. It has to connect to backend system. So there has to be support provided to connect to backend system. So we have options for data connection in this. So data connection channel. Then you have RFC. So there are standard RFCs which also needs to be created in order to connect to your backend system. So this RFC and BOR, business object repository, through which you generated your OData service. Then you also have DynPros screens, which is the support like IWFND underscore maint underscore service. You use one transaction, it brings you a screen. So these DynPros are also part of it, right? So this is your OData source provider, this section. Okay, so this is your OData source provider. This is the inside what is going on inside the box. So that these are all the things which you have inside the NetWeaver box. Now, along with the tool, you also have something called OData channel API, which this generator uses to build this OData code automatically. OData channel API. Now, if you see in this box also, there are a lot of things. Now, each thing is actually a separate add-on. Each thing is also a separate add-on. What are all these add-ons? So if you look at here, the core part, the core technology, what this has. It is called GW Core add-on, OData libraries. All these OData, SAP and Notion, supportability, monitoring, security, all these comes under one add-on which is known as SAP GW Core add-on. Let me name this add-on. It's exactly the same name what SAP also refers, GW Core add-on, which is nothing but your OData libraries. What you see in /iwfnd/maint_service, all the OData libraries, everything is part of this GW core. Then you comes the next component, IW_FND. This is the foundation component for your gateway. All the transactions are actually part of it. All the screens, all the actual code for OData, and all the runtime components, metadata store. You can see this metadata store, metadata repository, shared services. Everything comes under this IWFND part. So this is core gateway functionality. It's the implementation of your gateway actually, and it consists of runtime components. Then you have metadata store, shared services. These are all the things comes under this IW_FND component. Then there is one more component called IW_BEP. BEP stands for Business Enablement and Provisioning. What it does, you remember when we created our OData project, we first created OData project and then we say generate. When you click on generate button, what gets created? Your runtime artifact gets created, your all the DPC and MPC extension classes. So you can write your code in those classes. What is that component which is responsible for generating the implementation classes? It is IWBEP component. If you do not have this IWBEP component, you cannot write your custom OData services. You can only activate using IWFND the standard OData services what SAP gives. You cannot write your custom OData services if you do not have IWBEP component. Remember, this is very important. So this enables the implementation of OData resources, same like a business system. So it enables implementation of OData resources. So we just talked about two types of deployments. I was just explaining there are two types of deployments. One is central hub scenario and second was embedded scenario. In central hub scenarios, you have your, let's say, ECC. Tomorrow you have your other systems also. You have, let's say, complete business suite your company is using. So you have CRM, you have PLM, you have a lot of different components. So let's say you have CRM, you have PLM, you have HCM, different systems you have. Okay, you can connect this gateway to these different systems. It is possible, guys. So your organization can have different systems, and if you have central hub scenario used, you can actually connect to these different systems, and this connection happens through something called trusted RFC. We will also discuss where this trusted RFC is maintained. It's maintained using something called system alias. We will see where the system alias exists and how this is maintained, how it is created, and how does it maintain a connection from your front-end system or gateway system to these different other systems. So can anybody tell me, if I have my business functionality, my business data in my backends, different backends, let's say this ECC has sales order data or material data, which component do I need in my backend system to provide OData support? Anybody? If I want to write an OData service, my custom implementation, which gateway component I would need to have in my backend system? Perfect answer, Hema. It's BEP, because you can see it is business enablement and provisioning, enables implementation of OData services on top of your resources. So if you are using This is a very important certification and interview question. If you are using a central hub scenario, which is the component you need to have mandatory as part of your ECC system, which is IW underscore BEP, 100% interview question if you are going for installation based, if you're going basically for gateway management job role, more like basis kind of work. If you're going, this is 100% interview question. This is the component you definitely need if you are going for a central hub based scenario in your backend system. You need that component. In embedded scenario, you have one system only. This box and this box is single. It's one box, like our training system. So our training system, both these things are in a single box, guys, a single server. That's what I will show you the installation also for a embedded system scenario where we have both the front end and back end in a one single SAP box. So of course your implementation also happens there for custom services, and your activation of services also happens there. Okay, so this is the component. Now what SAP have done with NetWeaver 7.4, SAP have blocked, SAP have clubbed all these three things in a single gateway component. Okay, with NetWeaver 7.4 onwards, all these three were clubbed in a single add-on, and that add-on was named as, anybody, SAP underscore GWFND add-on. SAP underscore GWFND add-on, it was named as. Gateway Foundation. So if you have this one installed in your NetWeaver landscape, then you have all these three components already present. Let me show you quickly how can you check in your computer, or sorry, in your server of SAP you have this installed or not. It's very simple. Just connect to SAP logon. Let me show you. In my case, I have already installed here SAP NetWeaver 7.4 is what I'm using, and it has all three components, which means I can do implementation also and I can do service activation also. So let me show you in this server what we have here. I'll take your questions, guys. Let me complete the topic first. Hopefully your questions will get answered from the topics only. So let me come to status here and quickly show you here. The click on system status and you see this button here, magnifying glass. Click on this and you see SAP underscore GWFND component, and you see in this is the component which is present. This is the add-on which is already installed here in this server, which means it has all those three components, three add-ons. So this is what is being done from NetWeaver 7.4 onwards. Remember, NetWeaver 7, very important interview question. After which NetWeaver version SAP Gateway Core, IWFND and IWBEP clubbed together in a Gateway Foundation component, Gateway Foundation add-on. It was 7.4, NetWeaver 7.4. Afterwards, from and after this, all these three got clubbed together as a one single add-on. So if you install these, all three are there in your system, which means all these boxes what you see here, they are all there in your computer, in your server. Okay, so it's a very important question. Now you are understanding what is going on behind the scenes, right? So before, if you are going with a distributed scenario, which means your central hub scenario, you would probably need only BEP here. So it can be an old system. Now SAP, they want to go with Fiori. Some company already has, they are on SAP NetWeaver 7.1, but they want to go with Fiori. So what they can do is they can install a separate server with 7.4 here. They will have all the gateway add-on installed, basically this gateway FND add-on, which brings everything here. You can also implement your OData services here, but actually your data is here. So what you need here in this, you just need IWBEP add-on, and then you can create OData services, which then can be registered with gateway, and gateway can expose the Fiori apps. So IWBEP can be enabled here in this. With this, it will be possible to create the OData service implementation of your custom data in this. So only this add-on is what you install in your existing NetWeaver. But of course, you need to also sometimes expose the services directly. So it is also recommended that you install these two as well. These two are bare minimum. Okay, these two are bare minimum. You have to install. So if you are on NetWeaver 7.4, don't worry. You just And this is also part of NetWeaver 7.4 only. This is actually not a separate installation. When you install 7.4, it automatically comes. Gateway FND automatically comes. So now we will go ahead and we will quickly discuss how to do the setup in the system. Okay. Before that, hope you understood what is a central hub scenario and what is embedded scenario. Good interview question, how it is being installed, in which case you will go with central hub scenario, in which case you will go with embedded scenario. So if a company already using SAP NetWeaver 7 point up to 7.3 something, okay, and they want to innovate, they want to go with new Fiori apps, your recommendation should be install a separate front-end system with 7.4, which brings in all the UI and NetWeaver gateway add-ons, and then you can connect through a trusted RFC to this backend system. And then in that case, you just have to have this one in your backend system and you can create OData services and expose the data. It is all possible. So in case of training systems, we typically use embedded scenario. Now, actually, if you are using embedded scenario, these both boxes are single. This is actual one single server in which you installed both the things. Now, for that also, you need to create a relationship with self. Okay, you need to create a relationship with self relationship you have to create. Imagine both you install in a single. Now they are one, but you need a self relationship so that it can connect to itself and then get the data. Okay, this is how it is going to work, and that we will also have to create a trusted RFC with the self, okay, in the system when you're configuring NetWeaver gateway. So first we'll see installation, and then we will see how to configure, how to enable NetWeaver gateway in your computer, in your server. Now, before that, let's also talk about quickly on UI add-on. So we all know that to build Fiori apps, what is the bare minimum you all need? Anybody? To create a Fiori app, what is that you need bare minimum? We all have talked about it. This was our first interview question which we learned in last course. What is that you need to create a Fiori app? Anyone? No, not component.js. No, not gateway core. No web ID. No. To create a Fiori app, to create a UI5 app, what is that you need, guys? No SEGW. SEGW is used for services. No, not that. You need SAP UI5. Perfect. You need SAP UI5 framework. What is that framework contains? It contains the runtime and design time libraries. Remember the design time libraries for UI5, SAP UI Commons, SAP.m, SAP.ui.layout, right? That's what you need to create a Fiori app. You need UI5 framework. And how does that framework comes here? You remember when we wrote some Fiori apps in Eclipse. Before writing any app in Eclipse, what is that we did? We installed a toolkit, UI5 development toolkit in our Eclipse, right? Then only it was working. Otherwise it won't work because we have installed the UI5 framework in Eclipse so that it knows what is the SAP UI Commons, what is SAP.m. Similarly, when you want to run your Fiori app on this NetWeaver server, what is that you need? You need UI5 framework with the server. And that's what exactly one of the important component comes under UI add-ons. So along with NetWeaver Gateway, to run Fiori apps on SAP Gateway system, you need UI add-ons. You also need UI add-ons. So that was about OData service support. Now what about Fiori support? What about UI5 support? You need UI add-ons to be installed in SAP NetWeaver front-end system. Okay, so there are a lot of different UI add-ons, but before that I also missed one more add-on here. That was also very good. I think indeed two add-ons which I wanted to really mention. One was IW_PGW add-on. One of you have come to me sometime back and say my workflow is not working. Okay, just go and check if your approval app which you're trying to make it work, is this add-on properly installed in your server? If this is not there, your workflows will not work. This add-on is an enabler for gateway business process management. Okay, it's called business process management, BPM. It's an enabler of SAP BPM, business process management, and it also exposes something called task observer for BPM. It exposes task observer to start a workflow, guys. Whenever you start a workflow, work item gets created, and every step of a workflow is known as a task. So, and how does the task trigger? It can trigger from an event also. Okay, and this event listening, event observer, all these concept comes under workflow, and that is all managed by this component, PGW component, very important. So most of the approval apps, what you see, they need this PGW component. If this is not there, sometimes your workflow apps, the apps, especially the approval apps, may not work. Okay, so this is one component which is mainly for business workflows, which is being presented in the NetWeaver Gateway. Business workflows, to make the business workflow work seamlessly with Fiori. So IW underscore PGW component, this has to be a separate installation add-on if you need approval apps to be activated in your server. Okay, then comes there's one more called IW underscore HDB, because as we mentioned, there are different types of Fiori apps, and some of the apps, as you have already learned on the blogs, that they need HANA database. HANA is the primary database, or HANA database, HDB, HANA database they need to make it run. So how do you connect? How do you create OData services over HANA views? Okay, so that this add-on will help you to create OData services over HANA views. So this is also one add-on which these two add-ons I wanted to mention, pretty important add-ons which we also need to install. They doesn't come by default with GWFND add-on. These add-ons needs to be installed separately if you need them. Okay, now coming to the UI add-ons. So
Anubhav, these add-ons need to be installed on the front-end, means the backend server only.
yes, in the backend server, HDB needs to be installed in the backend server, and this one also, if you have a central hub scenario, then probably yes, in the backend system. But if you have embedded scenario, then both are obviously the same, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Means, okay.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, got it.
So now coming to the UI add-ons. So first thing which we need to provide for running our Fiori app, our UI5 framework. Yeah. Whatever you've done in the first course, explorer.html, explore.html. How does that works? It only works with UI5 framework. So you must need some of the UI add-ons to be installed. This is must if you want to work with UI. So there are a couple of UI add-ons which are required. So one is UI2 underscore FND. This is the foundation for UI5. Okay, it comes with the basic UI5 structure. Basically, foundation like JavaScript, jQuery, all these libraries, basic JS libraries are present in this foundation. Then comes UI2 underscore SRVC. This enables the Launchpad service and different usual service. Launchpad service, we'll talk about these services later. Interop service, configuration service, theme designer service. These services are very important for UI5. So that's why we need this add-on UI2 underscore SRVC. Then comes UI2 underscore UI5, SAP UI5. This is the one I was talking about. You need this add-on to actually install SAP UI5 framework. And there are basically two types of libraries which you use, 1.28x and 1.36x. So these are the two variations of SAP UI5 libraries, big variations in these libraries, and you need to must check before you deploy and build a Fiori app from WebIDE. You make sure that you are using the right UI5 version. What will happen, let's say I tell you one case where my colleague has created an application using WebIDE using template with this version, and when they went and deployed that application, Fiori application in the gateway system, in the front-end system, it didn't work because in server the version of SAP UI5 library was 1.28. Okay, this is a very big problem and point of confusion for a lot of you who are going for custom app development. You will be happily creating an app on WebIDE. You will be testing everything locally. It will be working absolutely fine. The moment you deploy in the server, you will start getting issues. It will not work because UI5 library version is less in the server, in your gateway servers, as compared to the one which you use to create in WebIDE using template. This is a very critical thing. I will show you this case, how to check your UI5 version in the server. We will, if time permits, we will also see if you want to upgrade, how do you upgrade your UI5 version in the server. It's possible. There is a SAP note which we have to follow in order to do the upgradation of UI5 version. We can do that in the server. But of course, make sure that you use the right library or light version before developing your custom app. Otherwise, all your effort will go for a waste. Very, very peculiar about it. I will show you this case going forward. Then comes is UI infra. I don't know what comes inside this, but yes, this is one of the add-on which has to be there. Okay, and then comes UI2 underscore 700 and then 701. These are basically for NetWeaver version. These are different UI add-ons which we need. 731 and then UI5 underscore 731. I really don't know what these add-on does, but yes, these are also part of your standard installation, and all together these things combiningly becomes an add-on called SAP UI add-on, which is also there along with NetWeaver 7.4. I'll quickly show you. If you come here, you can see SAP UI add-on. It comes along with all those small add-ons pre-packaged. So if you install NetWeaver 7.4, if you're going a fresh installation in your company, go with 7.4. Your components which are bare minimum for you to create custom apps or also to activate the Fiori apps, these are the two components which are bare minimum. They are the foundation for running your Fiori apps, including OData services. They are the foundation. Now coming to the custom apps. So let's say I want an app, let's say some leave approval app to be activated. For that, you need separate add-ons. So based on any app your company need, you need those particular add-ons to be downloaded and installed in the server. We will see that process, how to download an add-on and do the installation for our Fiori apps in the gateway server and activate the Fiori apps, give access to the end user for these Fiori app. End-to-end scenarios we'll see going forward. Right now we are understanding what is going on behind the scenes. So for applications, let's say it's HCM application for manager, employee, or a different application related to accounting manager, accounting clerk, we have something, some concept related to app specific add-ons. So app specific add-ons, UI add-ons for the apps needs to be installed. We will see this process, how to install the app specific add-ons and then enabling the access for your Fiori apps out of the box to the end users by using catalogs and using the standard content provided by SAP. We'll see that end-to-end scenarios going forward. But let's begin with our installation process now. Before that, let's take one question. Charulata has a question here. For HANA DB while using HANA Studio, can we use CDS views as OData service? You cannot use CDS view as a OData service, but you can quickly create OData service from CDS view. Okay, you can quickly create OData services from CDS view. It's pretty simple, but that's out of context of this course. We are more talking about here about apps and standard apps and extensibility, but I will try to see if I can cover some example about that. And of course, screen personas, I don't have any idea. Really sorry. Screen personas, I don't have an idea. But yes, CDS view, I will, but unfortunately, I don't have a HANA database. I got to check another system where the gateway is running on top of a HANA database. That is what I probably need to check. If I do get it, I will definitely show you how to create a CDS view and then how to create an OData service on top of that CDS view and how to model your business data using CDS view. I will make sure that I will cover that in this course, though it's not part of it. Many people have asked me that. It's more like a BAP on HANA, so I will come to that. Okay, I will include it. Great. So let's move on and also try to install the server now and how to do that from end to end. So let's quickly download what are all the different components you need to install the NetWeaver gateway. Now for security reasons and confidentiality, what I've done is I've recorded a video with my SUser ID. I do not want to reveal my SUser ID. Hence I've recorded a video of what are all the components you would need to download from Service Marketplace to get started with the installation. So you can see here, I just quickly go to Google and then I search for SAP Service Marketplace. The first link comes is the Service Marketplace link. I click on that and now you can see it loads this website here. So I click on install new software, and then you can see there's a button called preview the new look and feel. I click on the preview the new look and feel. It loads the website. Click on my support on top and click on software downloads. Now you see your company super administrator. Click on this button. The moment you click, it launches something like a Fiori app only. See here the look and feel of this. So here in this Fiori app, you can actually search the components or the installation what you need to set up. So we are trying to set up here a NetWeaver 7.4, which comes along with a UI add-on for Fiori application support, Fiori user experience, along with Launchpad and theme design and stuff like that. Plus it comes with the gateway add-on, which has all those add-ons to support OData service. Yeah, so I enter here NetWeaver 7.4 and click on the search button to search for NetWeaver 7.4 installation. So just choose NetWeaver 7.4 and click on search. So it will now find, below you can see it has found the NetWeaver 7.4. You should select installation product. Don't select maintenance product, select installation product. NetWeaver 7.4 installation product. So go and just select that. Sorry, I think, yeah, installation product. And now you can see here installation and upgrade, different options are present. But to install anything, guys, to install anything, you need software provisioning tool. Okay, if you want to install NetWeaver or any other component or any other portal, or let's say NetWeaver Java stack or whatever you want, you need this software provisioning tool to actually manage all your installations. So you can see the third option here, software provisioning tool MGR. This is what you need to download, and this is actually a SAR file, SAR.SAR. SAR stands for SAP archive file. These SAP archive file you cannot run directly. It's not an exe which can run in your Windows, or it's not any other type of file. It's actually SAR file. So you need a SAP SCAR tool also, SAP CAR tool, which can convert this SAR file and extract all the files in your computer. So I have already downloaded SAP CAR tool from Service Marketplace, and now I'll also show you what you need to download for Software Provisioning Manager. So we will go to Software Provisioning Manager first. Go inside, and you will see here the operating system. So in the drop down, select the operating system. So right now I'm using Windows 64-bit operating system. It's a Windows 2008 server installation with 64-bit operating system. So I select the operating system here, and after that you can see the components which are available. So I will download the latest one, which is 7.04 SP18 SWPM Software Provisioning Manager 1.0 SP18. This is the latest one which I have. So I click on that, it gets downloaded, and now I move on to NetWeaver, and here choose Microsoft Windows and the database as SAP ASE. This is nothing but SAP Sybase database. So it's named as SAP ASE now. So I choose Microsoft Windows in NetWeaver installation upgrades, and SAP ASE as database. So there are three things which you need to download in this. One is NetWeaver kernel, NetWeaver SR2 installation installation export, and also the SAP ASE database. These three things you would need to download from Service Marketplace from this particular section. So I select SAP ASE and scroll down. I'll quickly show you the components which I've downloaded. So one I've downloaded is, you all can, if you all have as users, you can set it up, guys. So you see this one, SAP kernel 7.42 Windows Server on x64 64-bit operating system, SAP 7.42 kernel, NetWeaver 7.42. So I click on that, it got downloaded, and then I download the next thing, which is ASE database, RDBMS for Windows Server 64, SAP ASE database. This is the second file which I download, and then I move on to the top and download SAP NetWeaver SR2 export. This is the main SAP NetWeaver installation, which comes with 4 layers: process integration, people integration, application stack, and the information integration, 4 components. So I downloaded this as well. So this video which I am showing here, it's also there on the blog for you to refer tomorrow if you all want to go ahead and download these components and do an installation on your own. So this is what I have downloaded from Service Marketplace. Then you can see I'll also search for SAP CAR tool, because the software provisioning manager is nothing but it's a CAR file and I need to extract it. So SAP CAR tool is also you need to download to extract your CAR files, SAR file actually. So come here, SAP CAR 7.21, and just download SAP CAR
Sorry,
EXE.
I want to
Yes.
ask one question.
Yes.
This work can be done by a Fury consultant or a Basis consultant?
This is done by Basis, but
Okay.
as part of Fury beginning of Fury, obviously this is not done by us. They will also not give in your company the S user which they use for downloading all this stuff, but it is my duty to teach you everything. Okay, you will
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course don't have to worry about these add-ons, what is installed, what is not. This all is basis work actually, all is basis
Okay,
work.
okay.
But if at all
We should
you,
have the knowledge.
yes, we should have the knowledge. So that is why I'm covering it, because it's also mentioned in your course content. If you look at the course starts with SAP Fiori UX, what is SAP UX strategy, and then we look at the installation and configuration in the system. Some of you may need it because some of you have come to me asking, Anubhav, can you also cover the installation part? Yes, and that's what is here. May not be relevant for most of you, okay, but you should have a right knowledge. So we have now downloaded everything, and I have kept everything guys in this installation folder. You can see all these packages here. So the Sybase DB and the NetWeaver kernel and NetWeaver export SR2 is available here. And then you can see this SAP CAR tool and this SWPM software provisioning manager 1.0 SP18 is also available. So what I'll do is I'll copy the SAP CAR tool and SAP provisioning manager into a new folder. So let me create a new folder and I just name it as SAP install, and just go inside and paste it over here. Who knows, some of you may have access to S user ID in downloading the content. So you all can do that. No problem for your company. You are a valuable asset for your company if you can do basis work also. You can indeed teach people in your company, the basis team, how to do installation. It's always a better knowledge. So I copy this path now and go to my command prompt and just getting into this directory where I have copied both of them. You can see I've came to the directory SAP install, and now I search for SAP CAR tool and -xvf, which means extract. Okay, I want to extract. What I want to extract? SWPM. So you can see the file is not an exe. You can't run this SAR file, software provisioning tool. You can't run directly. You got to extract it first. So type SAP CAR tool exvf and the path of the SAR file which you want to extract. Press enter and it starts extracting all the files which are there in SAP archive file. They have an extremely good archiving feature. It's a very pretty big file which they have archived to very small size, and that's where we need this SAP CAR tool to extract. This is pure basis work, guys. I'm actually teaching you basis. With this, you can indeed install SAP NetWeaver, Java Stack, ABAP Stack. You can install Solution Manager. All the process remains absolutely same. It's a very valuable work which you can actually do in your company. So SAP CAR tool for extracting all the SAR files, and you see it's quickly extracting all the things. And once the extraction will be done, it will tell you that extraction is successful and 1664 files got extracted. Let's close this and just search for our favorite file, which is SAP inst file here. Now one quick prerequisite is to install anything related to NetWeaver and stuff like that. You need SAP GUI. So SAP GUI is also you need to download from Service Marketplace and install. The minimum SAP GUI version which you should ideally download is SAP GUI 7.3 patch level 13, patch level 13 is what you should download and install. 7.4 is also available. Download SAP GUI 7.4, that's always better. And now you see this SAP inst exe, right click on this and say run as administrator. Click on yes, and you see it is starting the software provisioning tool for me, where I can continue with my installation now. So all what you see as a developer is what these guys will build, the basis guys, and what we are building today. So all what a developer see, we are actually creating today. We are creating a system actually. Okay, so let's wait it to start. So it is starting, guys. Just wait for a minute. Let me also close this system here. I'm closing it. I will also close SAP-GUI. You can double click here and check what's going on here. The logs. No SAP-GUI connected. Waiting for connection to host. Let's see what it is doing. Close the output stream. Client connection ended. Why? Ideally, it doesn't take so much of time. Maybe we will close this, exit, and try one more time. So I'll close this. I will exit from here. You can see it will come here. Now let me try again. Right click. Maybe my SAP-GUI was open. That's why it was giving me an error. So what is that a basis administrator will do? They will have to install an NetWeaver server. It's basically an ABAP stack. So all of this technology runs on ABAP. The gateway server, the UI5 add-on, all these things runs on ABAP. So we need to install SAP NetWeaver 7.4 ABAP stack. And we will be using here the embedded scenario, guys, wherein your both front end and back end will be installed in a single server. Okay, single server, not two different servers. So you can see here all the list of tools. You don't need Java stack actually to run Fiori. It's not needed. Now you can see here we have we have to install the support release 2 NetWeaver SR2. That's what we downloaded. And can anybody remember which database we have downloaded the SAR file for? Anyone? Which database? SAP ASC, right? So select here SAP ASC, SAP Systems, Application Server ABAP, Standard System, and choose the standard system here. It's pretty simple. It's not like, you know, the 90s time where you used to break head for installation of SAP. I also did in 1990s SAP R2 installation where it used to take hours and hours, and we used to have huge amount of resources as far as system and RAM size is concerned. And you know, it always used to be a distributed environment where you install one thing somewhere and another thing somewhere, database somewhere, and then connect them, LAN them, networking, and whole team of 20 people used to sit to do that. Now it's no more that complex. It's pretty easy. Select standard system, say next, and say run as new option. So what it does, it creates a log file in the background. Whatever you're doing here, it creates a log file. And by mistake, if you close this, what happens is next time when you come, it will read the information that sometime back you started this installation, and that data is still stored because it got terminated or you killed it. So you can see here in the morning I was trying something here, and you see it is saying continue with old option. It has stored all the information in control.xml here. So that's why it's showing me this screen. Now I say next. I want to go for a custom installation. I say next. Now it will ask me the system ID in the next screen where I have to mention the system ID and the domain name. So let's see, it's collecting information. So yes, you can see it's asking me system ID. System ID is a 3-digit ID for any SAP system. So in our case, we can give anything. Let's say FIO, or I can give EH. PHP, and I say next. Which drive I want to install? It's selected D drive, and here you can see the DNS domain name. What domain name you want to give? You remember whenever we run a gateway server, we have OData service URL, and that URL will contain sap.in now. So I say next, and now next screen it should ask me passwords. Yes, you can see it's asking password for all the users which I will create in the system. What will be the password? So let me enter India 123, I capital. Say next. Looks like I did a mistake. Yeah, it should be 8-character password. Has to have at least one number and one letter capital. Now you can see here it's asking me the domain model. I will choose it as a local domain, or we can also go with the window domain. So I select local domain. So basically I don't want a distributed system. I want embedded scenario where both the things will be in single box. So I select here local domain. All these settings you can change later point of time once installation is done. Okay, great. So here it has also picked up the password which I entered last time for the users. Now understand, any SAP system, guys, has two different users. One is called system administrator user and one is called service user. What is system administrator? System administrator user will be responsible for creating all the users. Okay, all the users. And then you have a service user which is responsible for giving them authorizations, creating roles, creating authorizations, different profile generations, and then assigning it to the different business users. Third is business users. So it's asking me password for that. I go for next. It's a pretty simple wizard which guides me through sequential flow, and it can be installed quickly and easily. It will quickly, after some time, it will ask me the files where my Sybase DB image has been placed, where my kernel image has been placed, where my NetWeaver image has been placed. So that those paths it is going to ask me before it goes to the next step. So let's see. It's typically a 15 to 20 minute of process where you go through all the parameters one by one, and at the end it will have uh, a summary created, and with that you can just keep on continuing. If you don't want to spend time on these options, you can go for a typical installation where it takes up most of the parameters automatically, and only the passwords and the image paths it will ask you. So now it's asking the database administrator. This is a DDQ user. Every system has a DDQ user who only give you the keys to change standard SAP objects if at all there's a need. So that's a DDQ user password it is asking me. I click on next because I've already given all the passwords together. And now you can see it's asking me the package path, the SAR archive downloaded in which folder. So that's what it's asking. So I'll just browse through it and tell it that all my files are present in this folder. This folder, all my files are present. So it's what is the path? It's C users user to desktop installation. So C drive users, and then I have user 2 desktop installation. Click on OK. Say next. So that's a directory where I have all my files which are present. Okay, it's asking actually more files. SAP host agent 7.2 latest patch, individual package location. It is asking me 1 second. I think I forgot to download these packages, but let me see if I can do something about it. 7.4 to SAR, SAP EXE, host agent. Let me quickly check which is my 7.2 export. It's 1. So I have to give the label dot file for 1. So basically it is asking NetWeaver file. So let me give label.asc file here. Click on OK and say next. It's not accepting it. Maybe I have to mention the kernel file. Let me try that. So go for user 2 desktop installation. Which one is the file for kernel? So for kernel it is 10_10 label.asc. Click on next. Okay guys, looks like it's not accepting this download package. So I'm not sure whether I will be able to continue this. So what happens is after defining all these paths for NetWeaver kernel and NetWeaver patch, it will install your entire NetWeaver gateway in the server. And once it gets installed, you will get a success message. This whole process takes around 3 to 4 hours. And once that is done, you will be able to connect to the server. So you will basically get MMC console. Let me show you if I have this MMC console here. Yes, I do have it. So this MMC console will control, you will get the server in this MMC console, and then you can start and stop the server from here. Your NetWeaver server, you can start and stop from here from MMC. So that is what the basic installation process is. As a Fiori developer, you should not do it. Once the system installation is done from the basis team, they will just inform you, and then you probably need to do the next post installation step, which is nothing but activating the gateway. So that we will see now in the system, how to activate the gateway once the installation of fresh NetWeaver is done. So I'll close this wizard right now and connect to the system for the first time. So I just enter username, password, and go to SPRO, the technical settings, go to SAP IMG reference, and here we need to tell the system that we want to activate the NetWeaver gateway. So before actually using the OData service, creating OData service or anything, you have to activate the NetWeaver gateway. That is the first step for anything. So let's go ahead and activate our NetWeaver gateway for the first time. So what I will do is I'll go to here, SAP NetWeaver gateway, OData channel, administration, general, configuration, and you can see here in the configuration you have an option to activate and deactivate the NetWeaver gateway. So we should use this action, click on execute, and you can see right now in this server I have already activated in the morning after installation, so that is why it's showing me deactivate. So this is first step. If you have a brand new system, your basis guys have installed NetWeaver 7.4, by default your gateway component UI add-on have come in, but you need to make sure that your gateway is active. If your gateway is not active, then probably you need to activate it, and this is the path I showed you. So here once you just say active, you will say, you'll get a message called NetWeaver gateway is now active. So this is your first step before doing anything. Now if you are using embedded scenario, you have to also create a system alias, and also you have to create a connection. But before that, since it's a fresh system, you have to mention the port number on which the request, when a request comes, it will be sensed. So that we do it in something called RZ10 transaction. Let me show you the existing variable values. Okay, I think it's RZ10 profile check. Okay, so here we should check for a profile default. Oops, sorry. I click on display. It's not available. profile is this one. I think we have created a profile here. Okay, so this is a profile for all the variables, and let me show you the variable value in RZ11 transaction. So basically all the system configuration are controlled by the parameters. These are called profile parameters. So basis colleagues will maintain these system profile parameters to control a lot of system parameters of basis. For example, if you heard about work processes in R3 architecture, in application server we have work processes, 5 type of work processes: dialog, background, spool, enqueue, and there's one more, update. 5 type of work processes, and there is a definite time after which a work process, if the response doesn't come, let's say you click on enter button, it is handled by dialog work process, and after that if a response doesn't come, the timeout will come, timeout screen will come, or a dump will come. How will that be controlled? That is controlled by system parameters. So these are all the parameters which are basis parameters which controls all the properties. So what we will do here is we will check the system port parameter which defines the port on which the request will be received. So the parameter is ICM slash server port underscore 1. This is the parameter which we are using to define the port number for the Internet Communication Manager. So SAP Basis, SAP NetWeaver has a special component called ICM, Internet Communication Manager. Any HTTP communication which happens through browser has to be through ICM, whether it is WebDynPro or BSP or Fiori. We are connecting to a browser, and it's an HTTP connection, and that is all controlled by these ICM parameters. So the port number and everything is controlled by it. So let me enter port number 0 and display. You can see the port number is 8048, and here you see this port number, standard profile. What is the port number? 7200. This is the port number, and if I want to access the NetWeaver gateway, this is the port number, guys, I should use to access any HTTP communication with this server. It has to be from 7200. You see the timeout is 60 seconds. For 1 minute, if it doesn't respond, it will give me a timeout error. Now process timeout is 600 seconds, which means when I send a OData call, if the OData is not responding for 60 seconds, it will terminate. But if at all I send a HTTP call and the overall call response doesn't come in 600 seconds, the system will send me a timeout message. So this is all the settings which you need to do as far as your OData, your ICM is concerned. Now there is also host name. You see port number is 7200. Now I'll show you the host name parameter. So server host name full is the parameter name. So if you go to any server and check these parameters, you will get to know your host name values. Okay, it's not visible here. Okay, I think they have used fully qualified host name. So in that case, it won't come here. But what you can do is you can go to your transaction for IWFND/gateway client and run any OData service, and you will get to know the port number for that. So when you're running it, you can see here this is an OData service response, and when I'm running it, it is 8048. This is what I showed you, the port number there, 8048, which is being opened from the ICM to receive the request. So this is the port number you can see, and this is the domain name what has been given. If you remember, during installation we got a prompt for this domain name. At that time we give sap.in, and this prefix it will create automatically because EHP is the server name. EHP7 is the server name, and PRD it has automatically added, and with this it has become a domain name, and the port number is maintained in RZ11 parameter. So with this ICM will send you the response. So any communication to SAP system which is an HTTP communication, whether it is OData or any service you are calling, even Launchpad is also a service which you use to access SAP Fiori Launchpad. So that is also done using this same domain name and port number. It all has to go through ICM, Internet Communication Manager. So if you come back to our PPT, we have here this web dispatcher, and then there is a request coming to this server. So here in this server we have something called ICM, which is the first point to receive and handle any request. of gateway system, and then the request is routed to your gateway component for handling the OData request. Okay. Now this is one setting about RZ parameter, and then we have to also maintain the system alias. As I mentioned that since it's a embedded scenario, we have also configured the RFC connection and a system alias. So let's go back to SPRO and I'll quickly show you where the system aliases are maintained. So we go to here, NetWeaver gateway, OData channel configuration, and then in this we have connection settings, and then we have SAP NetWeaver gateway to SAP system. You see this is the one, and here you see define a trusted relationship for SAP business system. Now in case if you're using hub scenario, this one, central hub scenario where you have gateway separately and your ECC, CRM and different boxes separately, what you can do is, this is HCM. What you can do is you have to create a relationship with these servers in your gateway, and that is what called system alias. Now the advantage is, let's say you have material table Mara over here. Now this server ECC has some Mara data. Now same Mara table is also there in, let's say, CRM. Let's imagine CRM also has Mara table. They both have different data, but from this front-end system through this RFC connection, you can access Mara data of this and this both from a single service. From a single service, you can access the data of different systems from the gateway system, and that's the power of using system alias. We can have multiple systems connected to your gateway system by maintaining the system alias and a connection, and this connection is through trusted RFC. Trusted RFC we have to maintain to connect to these systems and bring in this data from these systems. So that's what is maintained here in the trust relationship with business systems. We go inside, and here we have to mention our RFC destination, whatever RFC we have created. So in this case, I have created an RFC with the self system itself. So let me just show you that RFC. The transaction code to look at RFC is SM59. Here you can see all the RFC connections from another systems. So you can see there are a lot of RFC connections. So I will show you the existing entries, what is available, what systems they have maintained. Go to system alias, and here you can see the RFC name is EC3. You can come back to SM59 and search this EC3, click on OK, and you can see this is here, it opened. So this is a connection with self. You can see it's a type 3 connection. Nothing is mentioned in the port number, nothing in the logon security. So this is a connection with the system itself because it's an embedded system scenario. I don't have an ECC box separately somewhere else. So that's why you see AHE, the name of the system alias is AHE, but the destination is self and software version is default. Okay. So you can see local, this is the default, local is by default. So whenever you register the service, where the request will go, it depends on the system alias. You can have multiple SAP systems connected to this gateway by maintaining multiple aliases, and then later point of time when you're consuming it, you can send your same service, can send a request to different systems because we have maintained multiple system alias, mainly used in the case of distributed system scenarios. So this is also you probably have to do to connect to a different ERP system. If in your company you have multiple ERP systems and you want to connect from one single gateway to all the systems, maintain a secure RFC connection and maintain a system alias over here. Okay, that is what you need to do. Now for all the approval based scenarios, you should have a special now you may ask me what is software version. So here for any approval based scenarios, guys, you maintain this business process provider, BPM provider. This should be your this business workflow provider. This should be your system software version. If you are using any OData service for workflow based access, any approval app, then your software version here should be BWF. Remember, this is one catch why sometimes your approval apps may not work, because the OData service which you've registered with local. You have to create a system alias with the software version BWF, business workflows, and then register your OData service with this as a system alias. It will work. Okay, so we can maintain one more entry here, same like the one which we have here. Let me just keep it default, and I control Y, copy everything, control Y, copy everything, and then click on new entry and paste. And here choose software version as business workflow. Save this. EH is already there, and I say business workflow BW, and it asks me a transport request, fine, okay, and this entry has been maintained, you can see. So when I will register an OData service, guys, I will use this as my system alias if I'm using my OData scenario is for workflow approval apps. Okay, when I will configure an approval app, I will show you how do I do it. Okay, remember, so that time I will show you, I will register the service with this particular alias. Right now it's too much of theory for you, not may be relevant for you as a Fiori developer, but these things will make sense when we start activating the standard Fiori apps. That time you will realize that these things, how they are connected to OData services of relative apps. So these are all the settings which you need to do in order to activate and get your OData services started, and after that you can create a simple OData service in SEGW transaction and test it. It will work. So this is about the installation steps, the different components what we have, the gateway foundation component and also the UI component which typically a gateway system has. We also discussed about deployment scenarios. Let's also discuss in detail about these deployment scenarios. What are all the different deployment scenarios which we have? So this is scenario number 1, where you are having a custom development in your backend system. So you can see here, if we are having any custom development, we need this BEP component to be must. So you see IWFND and GW core is there in the front end system, but IWBEP for custom development is there in the backend system. So this is deployment scenario option 1. Which case you will go for this? This is preferred. This is a preferred development scenario used initially internally. Also this SAP is using this scenario only. The gateway hub acts only the communication endpoint, so no business logic here. It is just a communication endpoint. It abstracts you from the business data, and also any security threat which comes to you is also being taken care by the front-end system. Any role verification is also taken by front-end system. Your business data is safe. The call will not even come to your business data if you have authorization issue or any security threat, because you've separated the layer. Now business functionality invoked by gateway service executed in the backend server. So actual functionality is written in the gateway, and here you have your development, your ABAP code, which is giving you the data for the service. IWBEP component supports that. Now what are the backend requirements? It must be based on NetWeaver 7.0 or higher, must be patched to SP18 or higher. 7.0 SP18, more than that it should be, then only you can install IWBEP. Otherwise you cannot. Okay, installation of add-ons are permitted. The add-on component is IWBEP, which is mandatory and provides ABAP classes for OData channel development and event push capabilities. So this is what this component provides. That's why we need it in the backend system. Okay. Yes, when you are installing SAP NetWeaver Gateway, you should use the domain name which we mentioned in installation. Instead of sap.in, use your company domain name there. Okay. Yes. So here this guy will take care of any attacks. So I will also show you security. How does the gateway helps you to improve the security if you are using a distributed development scenario? This is the most favorable option in most of the companies. Now within this only, in a distributed scenario, you have option number 2, where what you do is, okay, looks like the image is not visible. Yeah. So here you can see your design time is there here. Okay, just the services access, but your backend code is IWSCS. Okay, it is here. Now in this scenario, what typically happens is, okay, what's going on? In this scenario, what typically happens is, your backend logic is here, but you are using generators. You remember we used service generation technique where we used RFC and BAPIs to create the code automatically, right? It created the code automatically. So that is what they are using here. Instead of writing the ABAP code, they are using generators, and actual code gets generated in the backend system. And just through the RFCs, you are accessing your data still there in the backend system. This scenario is favorable when still you are using old NetWeaver. Again, 7.0 greater than equals to SP18, then only you can access it. Again, for this IWBEP is used, or only IWSCS is used, screen scrapping functionality. So what happens is, if you have worked on batch data communication, guys, if somebody has recorded as batch processing, TCD recording, so what you can do is in SAP system, backend system, you can have a batch recording, and what this screen scrapping functionality does is it maps all your data from the BAPI, okay, from the BAPI to the screen elements, and in the background only it will process all the data. So all your operation related to get, put, post will be done by this generator tool in design time from the batch processes. So this is option number 2. Again, it's not so favorable. We typically go with the option 1 only, where we have IWBEP and our own ABAP code or generators to use the generate ABAP code, and the front end is then your gateway. Deployment number 3 option, what we have is custom development in Gateway Hub. So here you have your custom development in Hub only. See, whenever you want your development, your ABAP code to be written for services, it is a custom development. And in this case, IWBEP has to be in the front end only. In the backend, you have data and BAPI is accessing this data. You don't have your ABAP code to access the data in the backend. It is there in the front end only. It's calling the BAPI, getting the data, and providing you the implementation for DPC and MPC extension classes. This is deployment option 3. Now coming to the last one, option number 4, where we have everything in one system. This is your embedded scenario, where you have both gateway and the data in single system. You have installed both the UI and gateway FND add-on in your existing ERP system. It has to be on NetWeaver 7.02 greater than equals to SP7. Then only you can do this. So when you're going for business, when you're going into any company, just see what NetWeaver version they are onto and which scenario they are using. Are they using distributed scenario or are they using embedded scenario? You can easily go ahead and check it. Do they have 2 servers or 1 server? So typically most of the companies go with the deployment option 1, where they have 2 servers. Their ERP system, actual data system, is somewhere else, and this gateway system is somewhere else. Their implementation of service will be done in the backend, but their UI add-on and OData service activation is done on the front end. Remember, so there's one front end, one back end. This is what I have also seen majorly in major projects. Okay, so you need to know, you need to ask questions carefully when you are going and talking to basis guys or people are already working in the team. You need to understand that what kind of scenario they have. Are they having embedded scenario or central gateway hub scenario? This is one straight question you can ask whenever you're getting into a team. Now, other than this, any other scenarios are possible? Yes, it is possible. Let me tell you quickly, this is a world of innovation. There are a lot of things happening around, and there is definitely room for other type of scenarios. What those scenarios are? Those scenarios are basically HANA access scenarios, where what they have is they typically have their SAP front-end system, SAP gateway, you can call it as gateway or your front-end system. And then they have something called HANA database. So you have your SAP HANA as a database. And then on top of this HANA, they used modular perspective and they created views. And what this front-end system does, it exposes the OData service from the views directly. So you have views, and then it extracts the data from the HANA views and exposes it as a OData service. You don't have any ECC system in the middle. This is also possible. And for this, can anybody tell me which component you must have to have in your gateway? Let me quickly show you the component list. Which component do you have to have in order to expose OData service of HANA views? Anybody? Which component?
IWSDB.
Perfect.
IW_SDB.
Yes, you can see it here. This is the component, this is the add-on you must install if you want to expose it. Then there is another type of application wherein you also don't need gateway. What HANA has? HANA has something called Access Engine. It's a lightweight application server, Access Engine. If time permits, during the end of this course, I will show you how does a HANA with Access Engine works. Maybe we will create a very small Fiori app connecting creating an Access OData service connecting to SAP HANA system and deploy this application in our gateway. So you can have directly like this. You can, it is also possible. Of course, you have to have a dispatcher in the middle. And then you have HANA Access Engine. This Access Engine creates OData service. And this OData service always has postfix called Access OData. It is possible to create OData service on top of HANA directly. This is also possible. This is also possible. Now here gateway, then what is the next scenario? That is also possible. I'll quickly show you. So you can also have a backend system. This is your ECC, but you are using HANA as your database. Okay. You are using SAP HANA as your primary database. You all know 3-tier architecture. You have presentation, application, and DB layer. So in DB layer, SAP can add SAP HANA as the primary database for your ECC. So in that case, what you can do, you can enable analytical apps. Analytical apps needs HANA. Without analytical apps, without HANA, you cannot have analytical apps built. So now coming to the same question which one of you have asked me, what are all the different types of apps we have in SAP system? What are all the different types of apps? We have 4 types of apps. We have type T. T stands for transactional apps. We have type F. F stands for fact sheet apps. Then we have A. A stands for analytical apps. Then we have we have S. S stands for smart business apps. Then there's one more category, T_X1. Can anybody tell me what is T_X1? Anyone? Any guesses? T_X1 types of app. Anybody? Nobody have heard about it? No. No. This is initial 25 apps. Those have become now, nobody is using actually them. Initial 25 apps which SAP released with first Fiori version. So these are all the types of apps which are HTML view apps without extensibility feature. Initial 25 apps which SAP released, those are known as initial. This is a good interview question. In upcoming chapters when I will teach you Launchpad configuration, this question I will ask you. How do you represent the app which was one of the 25 initial apps? Your answer should be this. This is the type of app which I will say. If it's you can see transactional X1, the first version of user experience, UX1. Okay, you see X has come from UX. One is first wave of Fiori. T is transactional. So these are all the 5 types of apps which you have in SAP system. Based on this only, there is a naming convention which has been built for catalog also. We will come to that. We will understand what is catalog, what is role, what is a group, all these things, how to configure SAP Launchpad. All these things probably will start from our next class. What is SAP Fiori Launchpad, how to make it work. All these things we will discuss in our upcoming chapter. Okay, so this is how different variety of apps are present. Now to run any transactional app, you don't need any special database. It can run simply with your gateway. You can use your gateway and run your applications. But as far as your analytical apps are concerned, they all use analytical capabilities of SAP HANA. Basically, they need analytical views which are built on SAP HANA. So for that, The prerequisite is SAP HANA. SAP HANA is the prerequisite for analytical apps. Now, there is something called search models concept. Now, that search model concept works in ECC, but it uses SAP HANA as the primary database search model. So if you have search model in ECC and you are using HANA as your primary database, then you can also use Factsheet apps. Some people say HANA, Factsheet and analytical apps mandatory is HANA database. No. For Factsheet app, there is one more condition that you have to have search model in your ECC. Then only you can use Factsheet app. If you don't have the search model either in HANA or in ECC, you cannot use Factsheet apps. Remember, this is very important. Okay. Then
Hi,
analytical.
Anmo. Sorry
Hi.
to disturb you.
Yeah.
If a Fury consultant have been given a fact sheet app or analytical app, he should have any knowledge of HANA or HANA DB.
It depends what kind of app it is. So if your model is completely built on SAP HANA, so you should have some idea about modeling. So HANA also has
Okay.
three different areas. One is called data provisioning. What is data provisioning? Data provisioning is, let's imagine you were using some legacy system, old systems in old days, old databases, Oracle, MySQL, or some different databases. Now with emergence of SAP HANA, it has created some sensation. And now your company wants to use SAP HANA and leverage the in-memory computing engine powers. So what you want to do is you want to first try it out. So you will go with sidecar approach and implement SAP HANA in parallel and bring all the data from your existing data source to SAP HANA to test how does this tool works, how does this HANA database works. You really want to try it out. So all your existing databases, what you have, you want to bring the data from here to this HANA database, which is known as data provisioning. Data provisioning. This is called data provisioning. So there are data provisioning experts. There are different tools for that. Some of the tools are Business Object Data Services, BODS. Then you have SAP Landscape Transformation, Direct Extractor and Connection. Then you have SAP, there are different tools available basically. So with that, you can bring the data from different types of data sources to SAP HANA. It's called data provisioning scenario. Then comes is the data modeling. Data modeling is done by the business intelligence experts. So let's imagine I have massive data in my system. I have sales data of last 25 years of my company. I want to analyze some patterns. I want to see based on the last 25 year sale of laptops. I would like to see that pattern and see during which time the sales of laptops is highest in the year. So with that, I'll do some kind of modeling on the data and I will take out some charts, take out some view of the data from different perspective. With that, I get some kind of idea, okay, during Christmas time or during Thanksgiving days, I have got highest sale of laptops and devices, right? So that gives me some kind of trend, some kind of analysis on the data, which helps me to improve my production, which helps me to control my production so that I have less inventory during off seasons. So all these things are informed decision. That's called modular perspective, where you create three types of views, attribute view, analytical view, and calculation view. That's called modular perspective. And then comes is the third perspective in HANA, pure analytical perspective, where you consume the HANA data with different tools like crystal reports. Even you can use Excel. So using Excel, you can create the reports. You can use different data tools for analyzing this data. You can use BO, BI, crystal reports. So there are different tools available with which you can do the analysis on the data again in the chart format. So one is data provisioning, one is data modeling, and one is data analysis. So this is a big area. Your area of interest should be more like data modeling, which is pretty simple. If you're using analytical apps, there has to be some data models which SAP pre-delivers, because it's an analytical app. App is also being delivered by SAP. So data model is also delivered by SAP in SAP HANA. So you need to just go and should have a look at the data model. and it's very interesting. You have a more graphical way of connecting lots of database tables and different types of views and bringing out some fruitful outcome, and that you pump into a viz control. Viz is visualization control in SAP Fiori. With that, it builds you nice analytical charts. So that's what an analytical app is all about. But there's one more kind of analytical app called KPI tile. I will show you how to create a KPI tile in the system without even HANA database being used. I will show you that towards the end of our course. So hope it gives some kind of perspective to all of you about a little bit about SAP HANA. So we understood today the gateway architecture. Of course, we cannot continue with the installation because of some files were not signed up. But unfortunately, I think that is not so important for you. More important is to understand these components, what are the different add-ons which we have, and how to install these add-ons. And after installation, we will move on to the next part. From tomorrow's session, we will see how to activate standard Fiori apps. Okay, standard Fiori apps. Some of the apps we will try to activate, and then we will include these apps in SAP Fiori Launchpad. I will discuss about what is SAP Fiori Launchpad, what is a technical role, what is a business role, what is the content. All these things we will discuss in the next chapter. Any questions before we close? Anyone? No questions? So that's it for the day. See you tomorrow, and we will talk about activating standard Fiori apps and Launchpad. Have a nice day and goodbye.